I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video, we're going to be looking into the question as to how to foster and grow your natural gifts. This can range from anything from psychic abilities and intuition to athleticism, or maybe you have a creative inclination that you would hope to see become a long-term career one day. Whatever it is, we're going to be talking about it in today's video. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to these crystals. You're going to pick the one that you resonate with most. Then I want to talk about a special crystal I think all of you should go out and get. So here are crystals representing our 4 different groups. We have group number 1, black tourmaline, group number 2, pyrite, group number 3, clear quartz, and group number 4, yellow jasper. I'm going to give you a moment to pick your group. Now that you have, let's talk about the special crystal. Now I know when we're oh my goodness, I just had a hiccup. Whenever we're crystal shopping, or it's your first timer or something like that, of course you want to buy the big beautiful babies like this that are overtly shiny and really obvious, pretty unusual colors. But the crystal that is the number 1 most unrated one that you should just go out and buy immediately is this beautiful baby right here. This is black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is really special and wonderful because basically what it does is it sucks up all that negative and bad energy, whether it's coming off of you, other people, that energy from other people transferred to you, whatever it is, it's going to take it, and not just take it from you and lighten your load, but repurpose it and bring it back to you as positive energy. So you feel lighter because you've removed the stuff that's probably adding up into a lot of self-hating or not beneficial thoughts, and then totally returning it back into something that's much more beneficial. I just think this is something that can, how do I say this? Jasper is awesome for grounding, and whenever people feel stressed or overwhelmed, they're always like, oh, ground. But sometimes that's not enough. It's like you feel grounded, but you still feel the intensity of bad vibes, or, the thoughts are still consuming you, except now you're in one place. So I think this is something that's really going to benefit pretty much everybody, because everybody suffers from this sort of heaviness in the air, no matter how it comes your way. And then from there you can ground, and with these crystals you can soar high and get into crazy cool stuff like astral projection and talking to your spirit guides and all that cool stuff and higher frequencies. But this is just going to benefit you in a lot of ways. So go out, purchase this crystal. You thank me later. I can't say enough good things about it. Anyways, let's get in today's video. You can go down the description to skip to your designated timestamp. Let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's see how we can foster and grow your natural gifts by looking at the cards. We have 6 of Pentacles upright, 7 of Wands upright, Knight of Swords upright, the High Priestess upright. Ooh, interesting. 3 of Swords in reverse. Okay, I immediately have questions. Hold on. Let me pull some cards. Knight of Cups in reverse. Well, that just makes sense. But what does that mean? Oh! All right, so you're, okay, this is really cool. You are a very cool individual. You're going on kind of how do I express this? You've been through stuff, you're not letting it define you, you're learning from it, you're growing from it, you're smart, you've got a really good head on your shoulders, but now it's time to test the waters, is the best way I can put it. So let's get a lot more specific than that. So the reason why I had questions is over here is more practical stuff that you can do and consider. A lot of tenacity. We're going to be talking about that. But over here, 3 of Swords implies, and especially with the Knight of Cups in reverse, is that you've been through something, right? there's an insinuation, especially when we have the Ace of Swords upright, that this painful experience actually helped you better understand that you had these natural abilities. Especially when we have the High Priestess, this definitely highlights and points to just like really solid intuition, like being like, wow, maybe I'm able to read better people than I'm able to read people better than I give myself credit for. Because a lot of people don't realize that being empathic is quite special and not as common. Like a lot of people like to define themselves as empathic, but I'm talking about like that deep level stuff. Like prophetic. I'm talking about you can feel it to your core. You meet someone one time and you're just like, I get a bad feeling about them. I don't know why. I don't have a lot of understanding of where I'm coming up to this, but it's like a deep sense of knowing. Now, this is a general reading. So for some of you, that is the case. And for other people, it's more like we're going back to the concept of like this painful concept just brought out your belief in yourself. Like maybe you broke up with someone and you were like, you know what? They kept me away from what I really love to do, and I loved to paint. No longer will I let them do that. I'm going to really look into this skill and ability. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, back to this. So this over here talks about the idea that about moving forward and exploring this gift during the time period you're still going through the pain. Like you're going through it too prematurely. But here's the weird, interesting part. When you get the Three of Swords in reverse, this is usually a bad sign. This is something where it's like, don't do this. You're moving on too quickly. You need to slow down and solve these feelings and heal in order to properly process them and then therefore move forward in life and not keep attracting the same cycles. This is different. You're being advised to keep moving forward even though you're not ready, which is really interesting. We can see where it came from. The pain comes from somebody disappointing you with, this could be anything from insincere affection, like we talked about, like someone, saying they really liked you and you thought there was a connection and then it didn't work out, or just generally something didn't work out, some sort of broken promise. Definitely this is involving another person, like some sort of connection that went awry, essentially. But over here we have the Ace of Swords, like I talked about. So here's this pain ended up having a bit of like an epiphany, an awakening in you, and you're kind of running with it and using it now. So this is a good thing. This is like a positive thing. This kind of gives, how do I say this? When we go through things that are really hard, often we ask ourselves, why me? Why did I go through this? And it feels really unsatisfying and feels like your time's wasted. Well, guess what? It actually led to something really beneficial, so you can kind of be like, not necessarily think, the universe or yourself that it happened, but be like, hey, at least it wasn't a complete, waste of time or a lost cause or anything like that. So now we lead to the other cards, of course. Now, with the Six of Pentacles, this is like the highlight for you, essentially. The thing is, hold on, I'm about to bounce around. Let me stay focused. When we have the Six of Pentacles, this talks about, like, how to express this. You're learning by not necessarily teaching others, but by sharing and expressing yourself. So it's not about you taking the lead, being a leader, being someone who would be defined as like a teacher. It's about you saying, here's my idea, this is what I'm working on, this is how I do it. And as you're expressing these opinions out loud and you're sharing them with others, you're better understanding the concepts themselves. Other people will share their opinions, and you will be able to better understand what you're going through and how to be like, oh, that tool can help me. So again, goes back to the creative component. You can say, this is how I use this program to make this image happen. And then someone goes, oh, I use these tools in this kind of way, right? But you also learn from hearing what they're sharing. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the Six of Pentacles talks about the idea of generosity, but understanding when to give and when to put up a boundary and say, I'm not giving you that anymore. I'm not giving away too much is the best way to express it. And then we have the Seven of Wands. So you're also learning not only by sharing with people, and hearing what they have to say. So it's like give and take kind of concept. You're going to be learning from others and be better finding your footing in your own thoughts and feelings towards your process. It's like you have the intuition inside you all along of what to do with your skill and craft. You just have to better trust yourself by sharing with others. We'll get into that more with the High Priestess. But When we have the Seven of Wands, this is when you're defending your beliefs. And you're being like, no, 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 that's not how it is. Or no, 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 what I'm going through or whatever I'm feeling is valid. It is real. Again, we talked about the intuition thing. No, I really am experiencing some weird things. They're real. They're not in my head. I'm not making this up. I'm not doing this for attention. You know what I'm saying? When you are simultaneously hearing what people have to say, you are going to experience people that want to disagree with you or think they know better, and you're going to just naturally know when it's time to put up a wall, like we talked about this. But in the act of defending whatever you're believing, again, it's that idea of expressing a thought out loud, and as you express it out loud, like the thought forms more concretely. But as you defend it, there's a sense of confidence that grows there. It's like, how when we speak before thinking and often our truest feelings come out first, as you're defending this thing and being like, no, 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 this is how I think it should be done. All of a sudden, before you know it, you're like, well, I actually didn't really know that. Wow, I didn't know I felt so powerfully about that. Wow, I should think about what I just said and give that more attention in order to, we're talking about like techniques, approaches of thinking, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the methods in use. So this is, I know, I'm so sorry I can't be like, oh, go study this, go do this. It seems like what's inside you is already there, the knowledge. We're just like, this is the method to pull it out and use it in a, the best way I can put it is like, when you feel like you've got a bunch of ideas, everything's great, but if you don't write it down and see how it all connects, the ideas seem to dissipate. This is kind of like your sketchbook. This is helping the ideas become more solid, see how they interact, where they intertwine, what needs your full attention, what's a waste of time. You see what I'm saying? But through an interesting social interaction. And I do say tenacity when we have the Knight of Swords. This again is just really fast, aggressive energy. It looks like you're going to have to deal with a little bit of combativeness quite a bit. I don't see anything that implies like you have some bully or this is not any negative energy. It just looks like you're going to be often explaining yourself, but not, and this is, I want to be clear about this, never explain yourself to someone. It's more defending what you believe in and understanding that by defending it, you're not only building confidence, but again, like we talked about, better understanding what it is that you have, what it means, the uses, so on and so forth. But it's this, again, sharing, taking, defending, intensely defending. This is all very mental, and especially when we have the High Priestess, I just keep feeling pulled to this mostly being like a psychic sort of intuition kind of thing that you're fostering and working with. Anyways, the High Priestess. Now, when we talk about the idea of it being in you all along, a lot of people just sum up this concept of the High Priestess and be like, oh yeah, she's got good intuition. I mean, like, yeah, she's got good intuition, but she's kind of, I can't say bad words. She's kind of a bad, you fill in the blank. She's really great because she is someone who is so confident in what she knows is the right thing to do. She's like, I got it, I know it, no one can change my mind. That if other people disagree with her and she could be potentially ostracized, does not mean you're going to be ostracized. We're talking about the concept of the High Priestess, not your situation. But if she is ostracized by her community, she does not care. She does not feel that other people's peer pressure is going to change her opinion. Do you see what I'm saying? You keep being told that what you're thinking and feeling and connecting to is valid. Do not let people sway you. It's kind of more a combination of, again, going back to the idea of like, it's in you all along. As you defend it and share it, it's going to come more to the surface. But this is also more of a loving kind of message of saying, don't let anyone make you think otherwise. Sometimes, whatever skill we have, whatever it may be, does not matter. This applies to everybody and all the skills and gifts and everything like that. You naturally need to go look at what other people are doing and figure out how, you can learn from it and grow. Many people, look at the great masters and do the same thing, again, in every single subject, and learn from it and then grow and then do their own thing. not you. This is like a natural born thing. Like truly, truly, it was in you day one. You're just waking up to it and giving it the attention you never thought it deserved. So just remember, don't you don't necessarily need to look too far in order to get the answers you need. Look more inwards than outwards into books, which is interesting because usually when I'm pulling cards for this, they're like, study here, practice it this way. Not you. This is more of like building trust within yourself, which is really interesting. So remember that painful situation that you're going through or have just gone through, there's an epiphany there. Foster that. This is how you do it. So I hope this reading was helpful and as enjoyable it was reading it for me. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving the video a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2, let's look into how you can foster and grow your natural gifts by looking at the cards. We have 7 of Wands upright, 6 of Pentacles upright, the High Priestess upright. Do not be afraid of that. The Tower card upright, and the World upright. What are you defending against? Oh, okay, cool. Let's get into it. Okay, so I can tell you right off the bat, so this is so funny because the Tower card makes complete sense when I see the angel numbers 1, 4, 5. So everyone and their mother is like afraid of the Tower card. Tower card is not scary at all. It can be bad, but it is in many cases good and can be interpreted as good because it's just when you have something affect your life to such a degree that your daily schedule is totally changed and shifted. You're doing something different now. And so that's what's going to be happening. You're going through a big change. And when we have 1, 4, 5, we have a confirmation that it is a positive change because that number relates to when an upcoming dramatic positive change is coming in your life. And basically your spirit guides are reaching out and being like, don't worry, you've got this. You have this not because we're supporting you. You're going to be okay. It can be overwhelming when people experience new things, and when they experience a dramatic shift, their first thought is, oh my gosh, it's different. Is this bad? And they're saying, it's not. Keep positive, be positive, go with it. This is a welcome thing in your life in order to evolve. You're ready for that next step. You get what I'm saying. So, what is this positive change? Well, it actually directly relates to your gifts because it looks like you're going to be meeting a mentor. Now, this mentor does know what they're doing. They're very experienced. They've got great advice that you should be listening to, and they're essentially going to be teaching you 2 key things we're going to be talking about. In the 6 of Pentacles, this is showing that you will be teaching them some stuff. So if you find you have some sort of a teacher in your life or person that is, helping you and like teaching you more about your gifts and stuff like that, if they do not allow you to speak your mind, this is not your person. This is not a one-sided relationship. You are going to be expressing your opinions, and by expressing them, you're going to be forming them. Like, how do I say this? Sometimes when we put something out there, because we're like, I don't know what this is, and you start to like say, these are all the thoughts on my mind. As you express them out loud, you suddenly are like, wait a minute, I think I just answered my own problem. Do you see what I'm saying? And by sharing the idea out loud, and then your mentor can be like, I never thought of it that way. They share their opinion. A new idea starts to form, which again teaches with like techniques and practices and tangible like forming beliefs and stuff, but tangible things you can work on in the moment. But this is all about sharing between the two of you. They've got the big knowledge that you need from them. You're going to do it specifically with them, but this isn't a one-sided relationship. Also, I do want to point out this is a card that talks about the idea of understanding when to share and when to set boundaries. So this person, while they do have lots of great advice, you don't have to assume every single thing they say has to be the thing you have to follow. You're gonna naturally, the High Priestess is also a very positive card, speaking of your own natural intuition. And the High Priestess also talks about somebody who is able to kind of lay down the law and say, hey, if you don't agree with my opinion, that's okay. I'm not going to be peer pressured by you. So yes, you're going to share some ideas. They have a lot of great insight, but you're going to know when to put up a boundary and say, thank you for that information, but I do not think I will be taking that on. I hear what you're saying, but this one doesn't apply to me. You see what I'm saying? And by defending it, you're better curbing, or not curbing, carving out what you specifically feel and think, and therefore become stronger and more cemented in whatever you're believing, and therefore kind of trusting it more, understanding the nuances of it more. But you're also in the moment, again, same concept, expressing this idea aloud, which is then in turn, it's like, when you start talking and it's not until you say it that you answer your own problem. Similar concept going on here. But this mentor is also helping out over here when we have the World card. This is somebody who's going to take you way further than you ever thought you could. This does involve travel. This involves teaching you about these natural gifts and stuff like that from other perspectives in the world. It looks like they are kind of the key, if that makes sense. Like they are the, maybe they're, how would I want to use this metaphor? They're the starting point. They're not the only answer, especially here and here. These are saying these are your answers. It's you participating and you learning other things outside them. They're just kind of the conduit, the beginning stages, the linking you to other stuff and letting you know that it's there, but do not get it twisted for 1 second that they have all the answers, they're the only person, that's it. They're just giving you the resources and tools you wouldn't have found on your own. So definitely understand that the things that you need to know, you don't fully know them yet, and that you want to be looking outside your regular situation and routine. So let's say you go to school or class or whatever, and you're just strictly learning about people in your particular field that are just in your country. No, not at all. Reach outside other countries, other time periods, other methods. There is something there that is vital for you that isn't going to be found in your regional, like your situation, if that makes sense, your particular country. It's going to be outside your situation. There's some insight, but often the World card is expansive by combining multiple different things and understanding that it's not about you sacrificing and giving up. So like whatever country you're from, it's not about sacrificing and giving up that belief system for something else. It's about understanding how the two come together and like foster each other and become something else. Something branches from that idea. Does that make sense? Did I explain that well? Now, this is really important to keep in mind. I want you to pay attention to this. So it looks like I was really interested over here because with the Seven of Wands, there's this form of like you defending yourself and protecting this relationship, protecting your beliefs. It's like you're just like, consider this you defending your journey in growing this. And I was like, why are you defending? Like, is someone attacking you? Is someone like some sort of obstacle in your way that you should be aware of? No, not at all. Well, you're your own obstacle when we have the Four of Cups upright. This talks about, and this is why that's a huge positive dramatic change, you're kind of coming out of a place of apathy and just kind of generally feeling bored and dissatisfied with most of the stuff around you. So like I said, very positive change. You're going to be pumped, doing total 180 of your life and how you're thinking and feeling and viewing the world. You're going to have things to do, things to think about, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. But the defense comes up in is it looks like because this is something you clearly have dealt with in the past quite often, it can be sometimes we teach ourselves that this is our dormant personality, and if things don't go our way or we feel that this personality trait is too strong, it becomes too domineering and act as an obstacle, the thing that pulls you down, makes you unmotivated and whatever. And this is you essentially going, no, I see you want to make me stay in bed all day and not care or not take notes or not learn or not read. No. You're going to have to actively fight that inclination. There's not much to be said here. I know I wish I could give you more nuances of how to fight that. You can find your own techniques, but in this one, you're just being blanketly told to be aware that it can be something that pops up. And when it pops up, it's something to be scared of. It's more something that you're like, oh, I see what you're doing there. I could give you attention and time, or I can, kick my butt and make sure that I go and study the things I need to study, go talk to my mentor, go discuss things, create ideas, even though I don't feel like it, in order to keep this momentum going, because this is not, I don't even want to say it's slowed down, it will fall and stop it. This is too tempting for you to return to. It's something, again, you need to be afraid of. It's not a big deal. You can totally overcome it. You got it. But it is something that's going to take a lot of active effort. And action. I want to be clear about that. Action. Not just like positive affirmations. Those are totally welcomed. You should totally do that. Say things that lift, you up. But it's like, think about it like, let's say you want to lose weight, right? Yes, positive affirmations are going to help make the journey easier, more capable, open your body up to accepting all the good things you're going to do it, but you still have to kick your butt and you still got to go to the gym. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the general concept going on here. So if you enjoyed this reading as much as I enjoyed reading it, please consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3, let's find out how to foster and grow your natural gifts by looking at the cards. We have 4 of Cups upright, 3 of Wands in reverse, 7 of Pentacles in reverse, Strength card upright, and Temperance upright. What's going on over here? Oh, okay. That kind of has 2 different scenarios going on, because this is a general reading and we like to include all the scenarios for everybody involved. Okay, so this is stuff you kind of want to keep in mind, because it seems like you're prone to this, and it's like, be aware of this so you don't do this, so this doesn't kind of like get in your way. This is like the unhelpful stuff to keep in mind. Do the opposite, so to speak. And then over here is like the stuff you can actively do in order to move, build some momentum, get this, like, because it's cool to be told what to not do, and it's like, well, what do I need to do? So you got both, which is perfect. So over here, we're going to talk about this main card interaction going on over here. So when we have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, this is when you're doing something over and over and over and over, and it's just not working, because you're basically being shown there are no results. It's not working. No one's responding to you, especially when we have the 3 of Wands in reverse. This is when like things aren't being interpreted well. Like there's stagnation because either people aren't understanding what you're saying, or messages aren't going through to them. Like they don't want to receive it. They're cutting you off. They're ghosting you. There's some sort of like hindrance in communication, and it looks like you need that in order to progress, to get your ideas out there, to express them, whatever it is. When you're pursuing something and you notice there's no momentum, what you're doing in that moment, it's all well and good to have dedication and, patience, and in many cases it's like, keep going, keep doing your thing, even if you're not seeing results. When you really notice there's nothing, no one's, giving you compliments, you're not feeling like you're learning more, nothing, and it feels dead in the water, do the opposite. You're basically being told that it's not working, and it's more than it just not building into anything. It prevents other stuff, like we talked about communicatively. Is that a word? Now, here's where it can get interpreted in 2 different ways. So the Magician card is fantastic. This implies that when you do get it right, when you are doing, the right technique, when you are in the right flow, when you're expressing the idea in the right way, we're talking about things you can do in the physical world. We're not talking about so much of a mindset. This is like the work that you do. The method in which you're doing it, when it is working out and doing well, oh my goodness, you've got it. That's the last kind of key to your puzzle, because the Magician is a master of all the different elements. So we're talking about their mental stuff, the passion they have, the resources they have, the way they express ideas, even their connection to kind of like higher consciousness, that like otherworldly stuff that maybe not all of us believe in, but it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. When you're in the flow, that is another worldly experience I think we can all agree upon. So this is saying like that's the last key to your puzzle. Once you have that going, that then opens up the doorways for communication, which opens up everything else. That's kind of like all you need, and you're just going to make it happen. So that's where you want to really put your focus. So when it's not working, do the opposite. Do something different until you find that momentum and make it work. But it also talks about this idea that the Magician card can represent something, how do I express this? Again, this is a general reading, so we're talking about like our different gifts. Some of you, this is like a psychic thing. So when we are trying to reach out to our spirit guides, and that's the main thing you're trying to give attention to, you want to feel like you're more into higher consciousness, you want to talk about spirituality. Again, we're specifically using the term spirit guides, but that can be any definition to you, or it's just this idea of like reaching another playing field. It could be astral projection, it could be anything. Whatever that is for you that you're specifically trying to achieve, the more you're trying to force it happening by, like, let's say you're trying a specific form of meditation, or you keep trying to reach out in a particular way, when you're not getting a response, you're being told that's not the response that if this is spirit guides, or if you're trying to connect and get out of your body for an outer body experience, you're basically being told like it's not working. The messages aren't being heard. That's not the way they want to do it. It seems like there's some sort of the best way I can describe it is like there's some key words you need to say, some special magical way of approaching it. You're basically not being told how, but when you get it right, ooh baby, it's all gonna work. Now don't feel frustrated by that. This is a trial and error thing, but if you don't notice after a couple days or a week that nothing seems to be happening, you're basically being told, stop doing that. It's not working. That's your answer. Move on. But once you do, this is the last key to your puzzle, is just this method. You've got the mindset down. You've got a lot of other things down. Just focus on that. Now, oh yeah, and this is the other thing to keep in mind. This is kind of like a side effect. This isn't a huge thing that's going to like haunt you, but this is something to keep in mind. It looks like when you are getting kind of stuck in that rut, it can cause you to be kind of complacent, displeased, dissatisfied, not as motivated anymore. And you kind of want to be aware of that, because the more you give that side of your personality attention, well, the more, the stagnation grows. If you're not feeling like pumped about what you're doing, yeah, of course you're not going to try different methods out, or at least have the kind of like hope and belief like, no, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to grow. I'm going to be stronger or more talented or more skilled at whatever I did than the day before, whatever. And but if you're not in that mindset because of this, because basically this happens, you're like, oh, it's not working. And then you're like, oh, I don't even want to do this anymore. Be aware of this. Don't let this happen. This is the thing you kind of want to be like, oh, you're popping up. Go away. We want to just change, keep faithful, keep doing what we need to do, try something else. But now we have over here, here's where our two practical, more doing type of guidance comes in. So when we have the strength card, this is great. I love how straight to the point this is. This is when your mind, body, and soul are in perfect harmony, because you are properly giving attention to each one. Again, this goes back to the psychic ability kind of concept. If you are trying to achieve that as your special natural gift and you're trying to make that grow and whatever, when we take care of our bodies, we have the strength and energy in order to think better. And as we think better, we're able to do the right things in order to better be in tune and give our soul what it needs. And it's kind of like one thing positively benefiting the other, like a chicken and the egg cycle type of thing. So this is saying like definitely right now, in order to have the energy and strength in order to move forward, and because like we talked about, the trial and error thing kind of might be a little bit painstaking for a while to figure out what is the thing that's going to work for you. And in order to have the energy and the passion and hope and the intelligence to try out different things and so on and so forth to move forward, you're going to kind of need to make sure your core, think of this like your fuel to keep you going. So definitely go out of your way to be like, what can I do at home? What exercise tapes can I do? I need to take some time to be quiet in a day. Definitely do some things that don't involve a social app, that like reading a book or something like that. And understand that giving all of those attention are going to then positively reinforce the other, which then in turn will give you the fuel that you need to keep doing this over here. But then we have the Temperance card. Temperance card is great because this is, I like to think of this like as the schedule card, because it's like the Strength card where it's that same idea that one thing benefits the other, but this is so much bigger, so it's like a lot of things, the right proportion, the right amount at the right time. I often like to see this as a schedule because it seems like, oh, if I do 10 minutes of working out every morning, but then I do 10 minutes of working out every night, that doesn't make me feel overwhelmed or overthinking the concept of working out. And then that makes time for this. And you see what I'm saying? Like, you'll find what works for you. But right now, you need that sense of balance where, like, don't think that you need to do everything all at once or one whole, like let's say you're like studying, right? Don't just binge all night and just read one book and study that. Break it up. Understand that you're going to need breaks in order to feel like you have the motivation and energy to move forward. And that involves, yes, a combination of things we talked about that are beneficial for your mind, body, and soul, but that also talks about the way you're studying. Maybe you need to study like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, 30 minutes here of multiple different subjects in order for the third subject to suddenly trigger like an epiphany in the first. Do you see what I'm saying? That balance, that kind of tiptoeing, that continuous balancing act with an amalgamation of things are all going to positively benefit you. That's to kind of give you some sort of like idea when we talk about the method. You're going to try different methods out. You're going to try out different balancing acts, different schedules. What's going to positively benefit the other? Because for you, in order to move this thing forward, it's not one singular thing you're going to practice, one singular piece of knowledge that's going to move you forward. It's a bunch of things, and it's not even like you're going to get them all at once. Sorry, my spirit guides are like really channeling through me right now. It's not like you're going to get a bunch of things all like I now have 3 things. I'm sorry I'm being really vague about this. It's hard for me to come up with examples right now. I now have 3 things. Now I understand it. It's by consuming all of them in different amounts to be like, oh, now the third one makes the second one make it clear. You read it again. Oh, wait, now the second one's making the third one clear, which makes the third one make the first one clear. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're talking like, let's say textbooks or something like that. And you're bouncing around, being inspired by the next, and they're all running into each other. That's what we're talking about as a concept. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's find out how to grow and foster your natural gifts by looking at the cards. We have Queen of Wands upright, 10 of Pentacles upright, 3 of Pentacles upright, 8 of Swords upright. Ooh, and 5 of Swords in reverse. Ooh, 4 of Cups in reverse. Okay, let's get into this. Super easy squeezy, lemon peasy. There's just honestly 2 things that you're going to be looking for. This is kind of like a journey. It's going to happen, I would say it's probably going to happen over the course of like a couple weeks. This is something you're going to be working on. This can happen as fast as you want it to, but it's definitely something to consider. It's going to be weird advice, and it's not necessarily negative. It's more psychological. Let's get into that. So over here, these 2 cards and their interactions talk about the idea of having a certain level of acceptance of when, how do I say this? Accepting your limitations. Now, I know that's kind of very the opposite of what I say. You know, I'm a big believer of we're all infinite and we can accomplish anything we put our minds to. And that's still the case. That doesn't mean like it's saying, you're not good enough, accept it. No, not at all. It feels like by not accepting them, you're putting those you're giving those limitations more gravity. Because when the 8 of Swords is by itself, this is somebody who has self-imposed limitations. And the 8 of Swords is actually incredibly, like, much more positive than people give it credit for, upright and in reverse. Because this implies you're in control. you can eventually see them, understand them, and remove them, get them out of your way. But by focusing on them, seeing all the things that you can't do, wishing it was different, forcing it to be different, becoming a bit of a perfectionist, whatever, just it's a lot of mental effort that you're repeating things in your head over and over again. Whatever it is, it's this mentality that the more you're giving it attention, the more you're giving it weight. And the Five of Swords essentially is saying in reverse is like, you're going to need to kind of just be like, all right, I can only do this. Okay, I can't do that yet. It just is what it is. So by accepting it, it doesn't mean those obstacles can't go away and you can't eventually get better at it. No, not at all. You can. There is always growth for you. Don't worry, this isn't the end. But you remove that pressure from yourself. That sense of pressure carries on over here and is really interesting that it's kind of a underlying focal point for you. It's like, how do I say this? You can try all the different methods you want. You can listen to all the information you can. But if you keep getting in your way, how can you move forward? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you can get a new car, but if you slash your own tires, what can you do? So this is, by removing this, you're basically opening up a doorway for so much more. Not just being able to hear stuff, get over things quicker, take on more information. Weirdly, sometimes by moving backwards, we're actually moving forward, if that makes sense. But what happens is we have the Three of Pentacles over here. So it seems like you're going to be coming into some sort of group. This could be anything from other like-minded people that are interested in the same concept you are. This could be a work type situation. So this could be work, just a general other passionate people that are into the same thing you are. Whatever it is, there's a sense of working out your ideas with other people. And when you work them out with other people, I know this is hard to swallow, and this is the main thing that I'm getting from this spread. It feels like if you work with other people, and how is it your idea? How is it your talent? And there's a certain putting yourself down for that. But you don't understand that's what you need in order to get to the next step. That shouldn't be put down. It doesn't mean that idea isn't just as much of yours, even though it was fostered and helped with other people to grow. You need to understand that it's more important that your concept, your idea, the skill you want comes to realization than the ego of it only being and coming from you. It doesn't mean in the long term it can't come from you, but right now you need that in order to learn, in order to grow, in order to understand other people's perspectives, because other people's perspectives is really important to you right now. Like, in order for it to grow. Like, it's not important to you. It's like, in your head, you're like, I don't care about other people's perspective, but it's important for your path, if that makes sense. So, then we have this situation going over here, because you meet these people, but they're kind of the entry level. This is who you're working your way up to. So, it seems like you get out of this sort of self-imposed limitation. You kind of are like, you know what, this is all I can do for now. I accept that. I will grow in time, but I accept me. No more pressure. I'm just going to be more lighthearted about it. You then meet these people that help you understand, work out different ideas, and you go with it, and you're cool. This talks about you overcoming this like just kind of grumpy mindset. You're kind of just out of it. You're finally flowing. You're no longer holding yourself back and having all these prerequisites in your way anymore. And you're taking on new information and you're growing these concepts and you're growing in your skills. But then we have this person. So this is a woman. She would be a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius sign. She most likely will be older than you, but older can be very relative in tarot. This could be anybody who is a year older than you or 20. You know what I mean? Like, it's super relative. She will be older though. And the thing that's interesting here is this can be interpreted in two different ways. I do want to share it because it is a general reading. See, with the Ten of Pentacles, it implies that this could be somebody who is either within your family or like has a family lineage in this skill. This is something that this person is incredibly skilled at by themselves, not only for their own because with the Queen of Wands, this is somebody who's got the energy for it, she's got the passion for it, she's got the experience on her own, but she has a history, like her family taught her this, and before them, their parents taught her parents, and so on and so forth. So she's got a lot of like confidence based on what she has experienced, and kind of like the weight of her past is like, oh yeah, that gives me even more credit and validation, but that gives her also more information. and things that you need to hear. This implies that the information that you need, the techniques you need, might not come from this time period. A different perspective, not just from a different side of the world, not at all. We're not going through different places, we're going through different times. So really interesting overall. So anyways, yeah, main thing you need to focus on is start to accept when you just can't do it, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you can't do it in the future, but the sooner you make peace with this, the sooner you take the pressure off yourself, which will then open the doorway to getting better. This then leads to meeting another group of like-minded people. This can be a new job, but this can also just be other passionate individuals, like a club or a group gathering of some sort. This kind of happy vibe, building things, growing things together, understanding how an idea can flourish without your own ego. Not saying you're egotistical, want to be clear about that. Without like it just having to be about you, gets you out of this mindset, gets you out of this bad mood, makes you more open, makes you more susceptible, makes you more passionate, which then leads to what you are not even looking for, but it is ultimately leading you to, and you're going to be really excited and happy about, a person who has got the past in a very strong sense of the word in order to give you the information you need. So yeah, and I will just warn you, not in a bad way, Queen of Wands are very, very, very strong. Everyone likes them. They're just very magnetic. There's something cool about them, but they're intense. They're very, very intense. Not cruel, not mean, totally nice person, get excited for them, but be prepared for coming out of kind of a sleepier, more intense, you're just coming out of when we're in a grumpy mood, we're kind of apathetic and slower, and you're just going to be bombarded with energy. So this is a good thing. And also I do want to point out that the Ten of Pentacles does say that she is incredibly successful and does hint to you having that success put onto you. Success in this sense is a long-term thing. It is a big concept. It's like investing in the cell phone right before cell phones become popular. Do you see what I'm saying? So get excited, get pumped, because it looks like your skill and ability is definitely going to become good money. And just keep these things in mind in order to keep yourself motivated, successful, and look for the right guidance. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I did. Please consider giving the video a like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Have a lovely day. I am wishing you the best.